top 5 rookie running back video begins right now, pal. Jeremiah Love, who's number 2, who's number 3, redraft conversation, and dynasty all in one video. Here are your top 5.
You're watching The Rookie Show.
Jeremiah Love is the number 1 rookie running back. It's not even a question. There's no hesitation in my mind. I'm not stuttering. There's no equivocation here. He is the running back 1 in this draft class. Not suggesting that somebody can't come out of nowhere. Look at Achane. Achane's the perfect example of a running back in probably modern history that we look at and we say, no matter how much you liked him, nobody believed that the NFL would believe that he could be a workhorse. It took us. We're the highest on Achane. We invented Achane, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but we invented Achane. It took us 2 years to convince the masses that he was an every down back, and now he lives as a top 3 running back, maybe top 3 to 4 in dynasty. Do it live. Mashed potatoes.
Achane is the man.
So let's make sure we're aware that running backs can rise up, and we'll do our best to identify who those might be, right? That have the potential to maybe dance right below, maybe hang on to the tier of the Love tier. But at the end of the day, it really is Love tier break. From a prospect perspective, these players can grow when they get in the National Football League. From a prospect perspective, it's Love tier break. And when you look at this man's profile, top 5 running back ceiling, you heard me right. It's Bijan. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. You could have Gibbs over Bijan if you wanted, but right now I think everybody coming off of week 17 believes in a little man called Bijan Robinson a little more than anybody else right now, and for a good damn reason. And by the way, we invented Bijan and Gibbs as well. All right, this guy says he invented everybody. Well, ask around. Ask around. Bijan, Gibbs, and then you've got the Achane conversation. In 2026, thinking you might have CMC, and then Achane, and then maybe another running back or 2. In Dynasty, you're going to have Bijan, Gibbs, and then you're not going to see CMC in that territory. Who's number 3 then? Is it Achane still? I think it's Achane. For me, number 3. But this guy starts getting into that number 4 conversation, number 4, 5, 6 for me in Dynasty. And in redraft, I believe he's a 6 to 10 running back prospect. In redraft, you heard me correct. Elite set of hands, situation TBA, although it seems very, very likely that these landing spots right here tell us that a running back like Jeremiah Love, the only one that's going to go in the top 10, is likely to land in a good spot. There are really no bad situations that would shop for a running back in round 1 in the top 10. You just wouldn't spend the capital on a running back if you weren't in dire straits and needed one. Raiders don't need a running back, obviously. Jets could. They could also tag Hall, but they could tag sign trade. But the Jets wouldn't take him here, Jeremiah Love, so they'd have to trade down. Arizona won't take Jeremiah Love here, but they could trade down. But that would be a good spot, realistically, if they did draft him. They run the hell out of the RB, and if they took him inside the top 10, they most certainly take him to start him. But probably not going to happen. Tennessee, the only spot I don't love is Tennessee, and it'd still be okay, but they would probably have to trade down. I doubt they take Jeremiah Love this high, but if they trade down, we'll have to keep an eye on it. But it still wouldn't end his career or anything. It just wouldn't be as potentially lucrative at first anyway. Giants aren't going to draft a running back. Cleveland isn't going to draft a running back. Washington could, and I don't mind that spot, although I think they'll take Tate or Tyson or Lemon, one of the top 3 wide receivers. Personally, this is where it gets glorious. Give me New Orleans. This is my favorite spot. I think that if they took him, he would be their immediate starter. They're not going to play games with the timeshare over in New Orleans if they draft Jeremiah Love. Such a very versatile running back. He goes to the moon in New Orleans. It's an exciting team with Shuck and Olave, a nice little tripod of glory. You throw Love in this situation, he's going to thrive and become the new Alvin Kamara 2.0 in New Orleans. KC, very good spot. I like New Orleans more, but KC could look to draft him. Dallas drafts at 12. Cincinnati won't take him. Dallas drafts at 12, but they've talked about just recently, the co-owner said that he wanted to get a long-term deal done with Javonte. So it does feel like it's going to be New Orleans or KC or maybe Washington or a trade down to get him. But this is where we're sitting right now, and New Orleans would be a perfect fit. So elite situation, probably inbound. Elite receiving skills, overall running back ceiling top 5, 6 foot 214, ideal size, 1372, 18 touchdowns, 6.9 a carry in 2025, 27 for 280 and 3. He's a great receiver, good hands, good explosiveness, great in open space, and probably comps to, I would say, the best example I have would be not, you don't want to say Bijan because he's not Bijan, but again, he could climb into Bijan's tier, even if it's at the bottom of it, if the right spot is afforded him. But I think he's best compared to Bijan, and Marion Hampton is what I've been cooking up lately. I see a lot of Hampton in his game, but I see the size and the abilities in some ways that Bijan has with his contact balance and his ability to shift and maneuver in between spaces and find open rushing lanes. I love his style. He reminds me so much of Hampton and Bijan right now. And I think that he's going to be, in his rookie season, he can run for 1,100, 1,200 yards, maybe more. I think he could get you 10 plus touchdowns on the ground as a rookie running back in New Orleans. Catch 2 or 3, bring in about 335 receptions at a bare minimum, maybe more. Shuck is going to lean on him. The team's going to lean on him. He's going to be an ultra attractive 6 to 10 running back as a rookie. And people that are scared about Genty and Harvey and Hendy and the slow rolling out of those rookie running backs, you cannot look at it as everything's the same. It's not all encompassing. It is separate situations. You have to look at these things from a different lens. You cannot let what happened last year, or even something like, hey, MHJ was overrated, I don't want to do that anymore. Scared money don't make money. And this guy is special. And his draft capital inside the top 10 almost guarantees there's no slow rolling of love out of the gate. And Genty was high, but he wasn't slow rolled. They gave him a lot of volume. It was just trash play calling, even worse offensive line, and the worst head coach probably left in the game that's now fired, and quarterback left in the game who's now gone. This was a non-optimal situation where Genty was fed to the tune of his draft selection. It was just a horrible situation, a landing spot. He's almost guaranteed at worst Tennessee, where Pollard's thriving at the end of the year in 2025. There's a lot of opportunity potentially to build around that, but that's the worst scenario. Everything else is a glorious spot. Love to the mother freaking moon. And Love, if anybody didn't know, is a Jupiter man.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the Jupiter men.
Well deserving. Going to the moon. Who's my number 2? Jadarian Price. The man that sat in the same backfield as Jeremiah Love. Now, some of you might not know this, but these two guys played together, and Price didn't get a lot of run because, I mean, you've got freaking Jeremiah Love sitting there in front of you. So you might ask, what did he do, Smitty, during his time? Well, it isn't what you want. It's 674. But 11 touchdowns. It's 6 receptions, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But this is a guy that constantly scores touchdowns. Without a lot of attempts and work, he scored freaking 13 touchdowns. And on special teams as well. He returns them. All he does is score touchdowns is what you hear a lot when you watch a game with Jadarian Price running the football. He's electric. He just lived in a weird world, but I think his combine, his pro day, all of those metrics are going to scream and stand out to NFL teams, and people that put on film know and watch this kid run that he is special. And you can hold the volume against him if you want, or you could recognize the talent in the film. And when you watch him run, and I urge you to watch some YouTube footage on him, just type in Jadarian Price, and you'll be looking at a running back that feels like he probably have 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns if he had all the work to himself. Now, there is some concern about, okay, well, he never carried the rock by himself, so will he get hurt? Can he handle the volume? And that's a very, very good question. And that would be the one caveat here, the one concern. 2024, he had a little bit more work in terms of the carries and yards. 6.0, 6.2, 5.8, very consistent with his yards per carry. 11 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. So, you know, he's definitely a touchdown guy, no doubt about it. But yeah, there is a little bit of the lack of resume that could scare somebody off. Now, if he doesn't blow up on his pro day combine workouts, then he probably will fall to the wayside. There's no doubt in my mind. 5'11", 209. He's a force, man. You watch him play and you say, oh my gosh, this guy's pretty good. I wonder, did he have 1,500 yards? By the looks of it, this kid's got to have 13, 15, something like that. and you pull it up, you start looking into it, you investigate it, and you say, oh, well, he couldn't do anything because he was behind Jeremiah Love. But these guys absolutely thrive together, and I'm very excited about this kid's film more than any other running back in this draft class. And so for that reason, he ranks right here. But my number three is pretty close. And if he ended up getting a better landing spot than Price, or if he impresses at his pro day, the combine, the workouts, and overtakes Price in terms of that type of stuff, then he's going to, with the landing spot, vault right into the number 2 running back spot. And I believe that this kid's going to climb up everybody's board as we walk into the coming weeks and months, and that would be Emmitt Johnson. Emmitt Johnson is impressive when you pop on the film. Emmitt Johnson is an elite receiver, and I mean elite. 46 for 370 and 3 touchdowns, but you pop on the film and he just impresses the hell out of you. Top 10 to 15 overall running back ceiling in a best case scenario. Receiving skills elite, 200 pounds, 5'11", looks the perfect size. He almost looks a little bit smaller than he actually weighs in at. We'll see what he actually weighs in on. If he weighs in at 195, it could be something that concerns some teams, but not really. He could put on some weight too. But this kid moves like, the best example I have in my mind would be like a combination of Lev Bell meets Cadillac Williams, if you remember Cadillac and how smooth he was. And I don't say Cadillac to make you think, oh, is he going to bust? Cadillac was really awesome. Cadillac was a really cool running back. I don't think he busted, because he didn't have the abilities. There was a lot of that went into that. But Emmitt Johnson reminds me of the best of Cadillac, and he reminds me of a lot, not all of Lev Bell, because Lev Bell would actually stop running and just explode, like in some ways like Barry Sanders. But Emmitt Johnson is just a phenomenal player, fun player to watch. And he feels a lot like not style of play of Achane. Doesn't have the quickness of Achane, but the emergence of Achane. Emmitt Johnson could be the guy that everybody likes, but when he gets into the National Football League, something happens. A switch gets flipped and he turns into a better player, a monster that could climb up and be in that tier that no one's expecting him to be like Achane did. There's always going to be one running back or wide receiver, or maybe one of each, that at least every other season, one running back goes from rags to riches. And it doesn't even have to be like unknown rags, but like running back 5 or 4 or number 7 overall in a dynasty rookie draft, a rookie only draft. A guy like JJ who went 5, 6, 7 overall turned out to be the best wide receiver in his class. A running back like Achane or Kamara back in the day goes very late, 2nd round, or Kamara like 7, 6 overall becomes an elite top 5 running back for years and years and years. I'm not saying he will be, but I'm saying he feels like the one guy out of all the running backs that aren't really considered. This kid's the one I'm excited about, and his stats are unreal. You look at his entire college game log, 1451. I love that he caught 39 passes a year prior, 286 and 2. The receiving numbers are there. Obviously didn't get the same volume in 2024, but I just love the fact that the kid caught 46 passes and 39 passes in back-to-back seasons. Very excited about him. Where he lands will clearly determine a lot, but this is probably one of my favorite exciting. We'll see where his ADP climbs when he gets a landing spot picks in this 2026 rookie running back class. I gotta say that this next grouping here, I'm gonna put Coleman. Jonah Coleman is an exciting player, and Coleman feels like he could be the Derrick Henry of this class in a way. Powerful, 228 pounds, 5'9", but he's built like a truck. There's no, oh, he's 5'9", he's short. You're not gonna say that when you see him. There's not a single part of you that says, oh, he's small. He's the biggest guy on the field, and he's a truck, and he just bulldozes over you. And he's got good hands, and the receiving numbers are good. 31 for 354 and 2. He has the potential, if he lands in the right spot and the team believes in him, to be a top 10 to 15 running back ceiling wise. I just couldn't be more excited for Jonah Coleman. If the right team invests, I'm going to be really, really behind this kid. He could definitely climb into like the number 2 or number 3 running back spot. He and Emmitt Johnson feel like the biggest dark horses of this class. I know some people like Jonah Coleman a lot, some people don't. So not everybody's going to feel like they're on the Coleman train, and not everybody's going to feel like they aren't. It's going to be kind of split. 758, 15 touchdowns, 354 and 2, and there's just a lot to like about this kid. In 2024, even better stats from the rushing perspective, 10-53, but only 10 touchdowns. He's got a nose for the end zone, just bulldozes over people, and super excited about the right team grabbing this kid. Maybe he goes and replaces Derrick Henry, and you kind of have a year of him sharing the load a little bit, and then he takes over. Maybe he goes straight to an environment like Minnesota, Washington. The Jets could move on from Breece Hall and this be their guy. The Chiefs could grab him and say, let's have a power running back if they end up going, let's say, offensive line or going with a wide receiver at the 9 pick. Coleman is going to be landing spot dependent for sure, but Coleman, Emmitt Johnson, Jadarian Price are my early front runners to be capable of climbing into that tier at the bottom, just hanging on. They're not all the way in it because no one's gonna be, but climbing on and holding on for dear life onto the Jeremiah Love tier. Keep an eye on his landing spot. Can't wait to redo these rankings once we have landing spots, because Price, Coleman, Emmitt Johnson are all going to be either going to the moon with the landing spot or maybe being somebody we're a little bit worried might not get the volume we wanted. My number 5 is a tie between Nicholas Singleton and Justice Haynes. These are two very good running back prospects, no doubt. Haynes brings a lot to the table with his 857, 7.1 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns, 50 yards receiving, only 13 receptions. So the receiving volume is a little bit of a concern for me when it comes to Haynes. I don't know that I would feel as comfortable, even if with a similar or slightly better landing spot, ranking him over Price. I think he's a nice player. I'm not down on Haynes, really. I don't think he's quite is running back 1 in the National Football League capable. Feels like a Tyler Algier like ceiling without maybe some of the receiving skills, which he might have. I think he develops them. He doesn't feel like a bad receiver. He just wasn't necessarily utilized as a receiver, but he certainly could learn that. I didn't get a sense that he wasn't able to catch the ball, but I don't know that he's going to bring the resume that's going to be needed to just all of a sudden pop at the category. So I very much like him. I'm just not as in love with Haynes from a top 3 or even 4 running back perspective. But again, like anything, these guys can get better once they get into the league. Nicholas Singleton, just like Haynes, he impresses me, but I'm not as impressed as other people. Katron Allen, probably the next running back I would have listed, also shared the backfield with Singleton, so they were kind of in a split committee, which is why you don't see tremendous, rushing totals here. 2024, he had more, 1099, but Singleton had 123 carries, 4.5 a pop, 13 touchdowns, and those for the end zone, receiving touchdown. Good receiver. I mean, 41 for 375 and 5 the year prior. So clearly a proven receiver, can absolutely be an every down back. He's just going to need to land in the most ideal of spots. And like anybody here, landing spot matters a ton. So it's not that I don't like Singleton. I just, watching the film, he ranks 5 or 6 for me. I just can't put him ahead of these other guys, but if their situations are not as good as Singleton's, then Singleton will rise above them. This is not some wishy-washy answer either. I'm taking hardline stances here. I hate when people are like, any one of these guys, you could just list any one of them. But it does come down to Singleton is not as good, in my opinion, as Price, as Jonah. I certainly don't think he's better than Emmitt Johnson, but if he does land in the best spot and one of these guys, Emmitt Johnson, Price, or Jonah, don't go to an elite spot, they go to a horrible spot, then Singleton will rise. So would Haynes. But until that happens, I just, as a prospect, I don't think they're as good. They're good, but not as good. At the end of the day, it's Love, it's Price, it's Emmitt Johnson, and Jonah Coleman. I like these two guys, but they're not good enough in my mind from an eye test, from the film perspective, from the prospect point. Again, get into the NFL, they could all mature very quickly. But these are the guys that can dance with Love. At least one of them will probably hang, again, grabbing onto his tier and hanging on for dear life. They won't climb fully into his tier. But one of these guys could be an electric player at the National Football League level. One that comes into the 12 to 15 running back territory, while Love could live in the top 5. Wide receivers are next. We'll break down a mock draft after that. Thank you for watching this rookie breakdown. One show inside the running back show series, and you can view all those different series: the running back show, the quarterback show, the wide receiver show, the tight end show, the panic chamber show. All those seasons begin now, and you can watch the different episodes inside each one of those seasons. And each of those shows have their own shelf on my YouTube homepage, so get to work. And there will be a rookie show. show. So not only does this qualify as a running back show, it'll also be inside the Rookies show shelf. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, live whenever big news breaks, just like we went live twice on that Rashee Rice news. And we're live at midnight Eastern almost every single night.